So after analyzing hundreds and hundreds of discus throwers from all around the world, from beginner to advanced, intermediate, all levels, I realized something very, very interesting. Every single thrower made at least one out of those 4 mistakes that I'm going to share with you today on this video. About 64 or 65% of people made at least one of the mistakes, which is around like 2 out of 3 people, and 25% made at least 2 or more mistakes, 2 or 3 mistakes, which is 1 out of 4 people, and 1 out of 10 people made all the mistakes. So these 4 mistakes are the reason why 100% of you are not throwing farther. Of course, there's a disclaimer. Those technical mistakes can come with personal style, but in those cases are mistakes that are causing people distance, and if they were improved, those people would see immediate results in their form. All right, so let's dive right in. The first category I want to go over is the off-arm pullers. Those are the people who initiate the turn out of the back of the circle with their off arm. That's the right arm if you're a lefty, left arm if you're a righty, and it's killing their separation, it's killing the throw, it's killing the timing of everything, and they end up losing balance, using their upper body to do everything. So I pulled up a video of Lassie, one of the throwers that are in the free analysis group, and he got his throw analyzed, and I want to go over how his throw is a very good example of why you shouldn't do that. It works for some people, it works for some pros, but it doesn't work for most people. It's very hard to get it right, and it usually costs more than it benefits you. So in Lass's video, you can clearly see that he is a person who is using their upper body way too actively to start the throw. What that does for him is that, as you can see here, he's already falling into the throw. He's not getting out and around out of his back leg so that he can create a very good orbit and he doesn't fall into the middle. So pulling with the off arm, you see here he's being very aggressive with it. His left arm is leading way ahead of his legs. Like, ideally here I would want the left arm to be in between those 2 legs. That would help him with balance here, and it would help him with getting his weight over the hips in the middle. You see here, because he pulls with the left arm so aggressively, here he has to stall and then use his legs to sprint forward. That is killing the separation, that is killing the tension that he can have between the discus and his lower body. His torso is leading everything. And as you can see, as a result of that, he will get into the middle in a position that is very open. You see his upper body is already turned. He tries to catch up with his lower body. He's pretty much sidestepping into the middle, which is not ideal. It's very hard for him to catch the discus and create balance because tension in the throw is balance. And you can see here, he is having almost none, all right? So definitely pulling the arm here doesn't work for him because he's also not trying to catch the discus deep, which is what most pros do to counter the left arm being too active. They actually catch the discus and wrap in the middle. As you can see, Lassie here doesn't do that as much. And you see that his weight is pretty much way too far back. He's rotating his upper body. He's way too rotational with the upper body. And those are going to make it very hard for him to land in a balanced position. You see here, because he's opening up, his lower body tries to catch up, but because he doesn't have any tension, it is going to land very narrow here, a very narrow stance, which is just very usual for people that are actually very active with their upper body. So if you're someone who has a very narrow stance, it is probably because you're very active with the upper body. You see he has a very narrow stance, and then he pulls around himself. Very hard to transfer power when you're this narrow, and this is solely because he was very active with the upper body out of the back. All right, so if you were to keep the upper body more patient here, if you were to keep this back or keep it between his legs here and keep it more tucked in, it would give him much better balance and a much better chance of catching the discus deep and having more tension, more balance, a wider stance, and a much harder throw. All right, so if you're someone who pulls the left arm this aggressively, you definitely need to fix that. It will add distance immediately. You will feel the tension, you will feel the balance. It's going to completely change the feel of your throw. Oh, just so I mentioned, the off-arm pullers are around 20% on the people that I've watched so far. They are 18.9% of the people that I've seen, so it's the most common out of the 4. All right, so let's move to number 2. Number 2 is the separation killer, is the type of thrower that brings the discus with his sweep leg. They're the people who don't let their lower body lead the throw, and there are people who bring the discus ahead of their lower body or even keep it the same as their lower body, and they don't give time for their sweep leg to go ahead and create separation. and you'll see that is killing their balance, that is killing their tension, and as a result, their throws feel powerless and they feel disconnected. The separation killer account for 15% of the people that I've seen so far. And again, those are people that solely do that one mistake. And I'm going to share a video of a thrower who does exactly that. He's Nathan, he's from my free analysis group as well. And I'll show you exactly what he does wrong so that you can see how you can prevent it and how you can diagnose that into your own throw. All right, so let's analyze Nathan's throw. So you'll see here, in comparison to Lassie, he already has a very good sense of keeping the left arm patient. He's not an off-arm puller. He's keeping the left arm in between the legs, which is very good here. But you'll see that he is bringing the right arm with his sweep leg. Can you see that there is minimal separation here? Those two are moving together. Ideally, you will want to keep the discus as far back as possible, as he is doing, but the sweep leg should be much further ahead so that it gives you better balance and it can help you transfer your weight over the left leg. And number two, it is going to create separation. It's going to separate your lower body from your upper body. Remember, the lower body muscles are bigger, they are slower, they take more time to move. You need to prioritize moving them instead of moving your upper body muscles. They should be patient so that you can create the separation that's going to create the flick and it's going to make the discus fly farther and actually use your body as a slingshot instead of moving in one piece. We want to create a sequencing of movement from starting from the lower body, moving from your feet to your knees to your hip, then rotate your torso, your obliques, turn, and then last thing you want to do is turn and throw with the discus. You should never lead with the discus. That kills separation and tension. You see his right arm and the right leg are moving together, and you'll see later in the throw that this is causing a lot of mistakes here. Do you see that his right side here, the right arm is actually catching up to the right hip? That is killing the separation, which is creating the tension, which creates the balance. So it feels like a loose band. It just feels like he is not stable and not smooth, and that's because he is not having any tension in his body. So you'll see here that moving forward, although he has a very good block arm, he's keeping his head very patient, which I really like. He is staying over the right foot, which is amazing. First of all, you see that his right foot is not turning, which many people believe that the right foot turning is because the right foot is not turning, which is rarely the case. It's mostly because of lack of tension or lack of weight over the right leg, which is also a mistake that happens with lack of tension. So you see that because his upper body is catching up to his lower body, this is going to make it super hard for him to keep weight over this right leg and to rotate it fully. It's going to be very hard for him to do that. And you see that the right side is catching up here. Those two are moving together. You don't see his lower body turning before his upper body is following. Everything else is awesome. His head is very patient. Everything is super, super patient. Block arm is very good. As I said, the off arm out of the back was also very good. But as he gets into the throw, you see that he doesn't have that whip. His hip is stalling. You see that his right knee stalls here. His right side stalls here. And then he just pulls around with the right side because his legs didn't catch up to his upper body. And now everything is just moving with the arms, no whip. And it's going to look like a dead throw. It's going to look like a discus that's not able to fly and be in that aerodynamic flight that we want. And that is causing this to not get any height and not get any power. And that's solely because of tension. Everything else looked very good, but just because he was bringing the right arm with the right leg, that was killing his separation and that was killing his timing, sequencing, everything was off. So if you're someone who sees that your right side or your throwing side comes ahead of your sweep leg, like if the discus comes ahead of the sweep leg, make sure that you keep them separated, you keep the discus as far back as possible, you feel the tension on your core, and you lead with your sweep leg so that you create that tension that's going to bring balance, sequencing the flick, and you're going to have bigger throws fast, right? So there's a very big mistake. As I say, 15% of people that I've seen so far do this exact mistake, and Nathan is one of them. But I feel like if he could fix that, he would gain a couple meters instantly, all right? So let's dive into mistake number 3. All right, now let's move to the third stereotype of thrower that I've seen most, which is the rusher. When I say the rusher, I mean the person who is rushing with their upper body from when they land into the middle. So when they finish the throw, they're not the same as the off-arm puller. The off-arm puller is a person who starts a throw with their upper body. This one is more of the people that land into the middle and then they use their upper body to pull around, and that completely kills the throw. This category accounts for 17% of people that I've seen. Again, this is specific to this mistake. So around 1 out of 5 people is doing this exact mistake. So I pulled up a video of Steve, who is a thrower again from the free analysis group, and you can clearly see how this mistake is costing him. So let's dive right in. So as you can see here on Steve's throw, he is keeping the left arm patient here. You can see he keeps it in between his legs. Again, I'm not saying it is perfect and this cannot be further improved, but he's not exactly opening up the throw with the left side. It could be more patient and it could be a longer left arm. You can also see that he has a bit more separation between his right arm and his right leg. The problem with Steve's throw is that when he lands into the middle, you see that he is tucking this left arm close to him and he's also pulling it open way too fast here, which is going to cause him to land open in the power position. He's going to fall off balance. A lot of mistakes are going to happen. You see he's pulling the left side, which is causing him to open up way too early with the left side. You see that his left side is opening up. He's still not landed with the block foot, and that is going to cause him to land open and completely miss the throw. You see here, because of the opening of the left arm here, you see it's very hard for him to keep weight over the right foot, which is going to make it impossible for him to rotate the right side. And you see clearly here that he is landing open with the left arm, the block arm, and his hip is looking at this exact point. His right leg is stalling and looking at us. So it's not an ideal position to be using your legs and to be actually creating separation from your lower body up. You see that in this throw, keeps his head very patient, which is good. He keeps it slightly back, which is nice, but it's going to be impossible for him to rotate because of the left arm being way too active. You see that his left arm is already finished with the throw and his right arm is blocked here. His hip is already stalled and is getting off the ground. So everything is just off sequence because of the left arm being way too tucked in and being very active with it. So this is costing him a lot. You see here, he's pulling way too hard with his left arm. Right arm stays level, but because he lands too open, you can see clearly here that by the time he starts blocking, which is around this exact frame, he's already open with the left arm, and this is going to cause his orbit to be significantly smaller and shorter than usual. You see, usually the time you start blocking with your left side is where you determine the orbit of the throw. And you can see clearly here that Steve is following the line that he has created right here. He's pulling around exactly this line. And you see his block side is broken because of the left arm pull. And this would be a lot better if he were to keep the left side closed here, more extended and more closed. And also if you were to keep it closed on this exact frame as well. It would help him a lot. It would keep more weight over the right side. It would make it easier for him to rotate his hips through and have a much better throw. All right, so if you're someone who does this, if you're someone who is using the left arm when you get into the middle and it's causing you to open way too quickly, you block with your block arm open, and that's going to create a transfer position, short orbit, and completely kill the throw. All right, so let's dive into the next thrower type. So the fourth category of throwers that I see is the head pullers. Those are the ones who pull their head while they're in the middle or in the power position. And although they can do all the other mistakes that I mentioned before, just by pulling their head, they're completely messing up the whole throw. I'm going to show you exactly how they do that. This category accounts for 13.2% of the throwers that I see. So many people do that. That's 1 out of 10 people that I see doing this mistake, and it is causing them a lot of trouble. And they could be getting a lot more out of the throws if their head was sticking with their upper body. So I'm going to pull up a video from Carson. He's, again, one of the people that posted in the free analysis group, and you'll see clearly what I mean about how pulling his head is causing this big disconnection from the rest of the throw. All right, so let's jump right into Carson's throw. You'll see that Carson is one of the people that had some of the best forms I've seen in the free group so far. He actually did all the other things correctly. You'll see here that in his video, he is keeping the left arm in between the legs, which is very good. He creates a lot of separation. He doesn't pull his left arm out of the back. You see that he actually moves his upper body before his lower body. you see that his left arm is not opening up the throw, it's staying back. His knee is opening up and initiating the throw, which is very, very good. And you can also see that he gets over the left side. His sweep leg is very active, so that's a very good position here. He keeps the discus as far back as possible, so he's definitely not a separation killer. He is leading with the lower body, and you see when he lands into the middle here, he is keeping the left arm patient, right? He's not pulling the left arm. The discus is super far back. He's super balanced over the right side, and that's exactly what tension brings you. And he's doing all the other things that I mentioned before correctly. But the only thing that he's missing is that when he gets into the power position, you see here, he is starting to look ahead with his head. He's starting to gaze and look for the field, which is going to cause a big problem here. You see, he is keeping tension here, which allows his right side to lead the throw and to create more separation. But because he's looking forward, he's looking for the field, this is going to cause a very big decline in his orbit, because you see he is starting to block right here. Because of his head trying to look forward, he is going to transfer his weight to his block leg way too fast, and that's going to kill his separation. It's going to kill the orbit that he has created so well by doing everything else correctly. Just because he pulls the head here, you see right here that he's pulling the head way too aggressively. His block arm is very good, but he's pulling the head way too aggressively. He's looking for the left sector here. So he's looking for this pull, and that is gonna cause him a very big problem, which is he reduces the orbit by a ton. You see his block side is breaking, and this, instead of being long and straight, it becomes short. He's turning around himself, and that is solely because you see he's pulling his head around, and that is killing everything that he's created. It's killing the connection that he has with his body. The head is driving everything in the throw. So if it's not patient, if it's not staying with the lower body, and if it's not staying with the chest, it's gonna throw everything off. So even though everything else is working very good, you see, because of the tension he has created, he's working his lower body. He is not getting as much orbit as he could be getting because of the head being pulled here. So instead of being strong here and patient with the head, so he can stay back and create a very long orbit, like his orbit could actually be this long if he were to stay more patient. He is pulling his head here. You see, pulling the head and blocking late, and he is losing a bit on the path here. You see, he's creating a shorter path of the throw, which is ultimately costs him leverage, it's costing him orbit, and he could be throwing farther than he's currently throwing. This is a very good example of someone who does everything correctly, but because of the head pull, he's missing on a couple meters of free distance that he could be getting by being more patient and being more connected with his torso and lower body. All right. So if you're someone who pulls the head, and if you're someone who notices that they're very active with the head, focal points is a very good way of fixing that. Looking at a fixed place, looking at the right sector when you are stepping into the middle, or if you are trying to look at the back of the circle when you land into the power position, all those help a lot with keeping your upper body back and keeping your head back. So try to keep your head patient, because it is costing you a lot of distance if you don't, right? It is very similar to pulling the left arm open. It is causing you to open up way too fast. It transfers your weight to the block side, and it shortens everything. You scoop, it creates a lot of problems that you could be avoiding, all right? So of course, I just mentioned the 4 most common types of mistakes that I see, and I categorize them into, and here's the craziest part. 25% of the people that I've analyzed so far do 2 or 3 of those mistakes at the same time, which is costing them tremendous distance right now. It is costing them at least 4 or 5 meters of free distance just by fixing their form, and another 10% of people that do all of them wrong. And trust me, I was one of them. I was doing all of them wrong. It's something that takes time, something that takes correct guidance. And if you have a very good coach that can help you out, if you can find drills and find the cues that work, that would definitely get you closer to a very good form that is not wasting power. It's not leaking power from everywhere. And again, those are mistakes that are very correlated. So if you fix one, the next one might also be fixed. And it is a sequence. The more you work on it and the more you fix, the more other things improve, and the better you get at fixing mistakes as well. So yeah, the moment you can clarify and diagnose which one of those 4 you are, or if you're a hybrid, or if you're the chaos thrower, that's how I like to call them. Hybrids are the ones that do the 2 or 3 of those mistakes, and chaos throwers are the ones that do all 4 of them. You'll completely transfer your throw and unlock a different level of technical understanding and level of throwing. So now that you've seen the 4 throwing types, which one do you think you are? So are you the off arm puller? Are you the separation killer? Are you the rusher? Or are you the head puller? I personally was all of them. I was the chaos thrower. I did all of them wrong and I had to manually fix each one of them separately. So I trust that you can definitely do it for yourself. I've done it and it has worked for me, and I've seen tremendous change in consistency and distance by the time I fixed each one of them. And if you want my help or my team's help to identify which one you are, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Discus Lab if you have joined, so that you can get your analysis and you can also contribute to the data that I'm collecting to help more throwers like yourself improve their throws and diagnose what they should be fixing and what they should be prioritizing in their own throw. And I really want to put a lot of emphasis in this. Having the correct guidance is the first step on fixing those mistakes. And that's why I'm making this so that you have a guide on how you can do that and how you can fix it so that you can completely transform the way you throw. All right. Hope you like this video and let me know if you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.